told you the Bible might secretly reference China? Hidden in ancient prophecies, a single word has sparked centuries of debate. Does it point to the Far East? Could the scriptures have predicted China's rise long before Silk Roads or empires? Stay with me. This biblical mystery could change how you see the world. From cryptic Hebrew clues to end times theories, we're about to explore connections that might surprise you. If you've ever wondered how ancient prophecy intersects with our modern world, hit that like button, subscribe, and let's dive into a story that bridges faith, history, and mystery. Trust me, you won't want to look away. So let's begin with a word that's haunted scholars for over 2,000 years. Sinim, tucked away in Isaiah 49:12. Written around 700 BC, Isaiah describes a future where people stream to God from afar, from the north and the west, and from the land of Sinim. Where is Sinim? Early interpreters like John Benson in the 1700s pegged it as a Canaanite town or an Egyptian outpost. But then came a shift. By the 19th century, heavyweights like Wilhelm Gesenius and Heinrich Knobel pointed east, way east. They linked Sinim to Sinai, the Roman term for China, rooted in the Qin dynasty, 221 to 206 BC. Could Isaiah, a prophet in tiny Judah, have glimpsed a land 4,000 miles away, centuries before anyone mapped it? The debate's juicy. Critics argue Sinim might just mean southern deserts or a scribal error. Hebrew's tricky like that. Yet, defenders fire back. Isaiah's God sees the ends of the earth. Why not China? Dig into the Hebrew. Sinim shares a root with sin. And guess what? In modern Hebrew, sin, flat out, means China. Coincidence or a breadcrumb baked into the text? But Isaiah's not alone. Flip to Isaiah 42:4, the islands wait for his law. And 42:10, sing to the Lord from the ends of the earth, you who go down to the sea. Islands, seas. That's not Babylon or Egypt, that's Pacific vibes. Some scholars whisper of ancient trade routes hugging Asia's coasts, hinting at far-off lands. Skeptics scoff, but the tantalizing what if lingers. Now, leap to the New Testament. Revelation 18:12 lists luxuries of fallen Babylon, gold, silver, and seres, Greek for silk. Silk screams China. Rome called them the seres, the silk people. John's readers knew this stuff came from a shadowy empire beyond the horizon. Was he dropping a hint? Check Strong's Concordance. Ceres ties to an Eastern people, probably the Chinese. Early Christians caught the scent of the Far East. Did John weave it into his vision? Here's a shock. Ezekiel 30:15 mentions Sin, the stronghold of Egypt. That's Pelusium, not China. Case closed, right? Not so fast. That same Hebrew sin echoes in today's name for China. Linguistic fluke or a whisper across time? And don't sleep on Acts 2:9-11. Pentecost's crowd included Parthians, Medes, and Elamites, neighbors to Silk Road hubs. Did traders from China's edges hear the gospel that day? So picture this, Isaiah's scribbling in Jerusalem, 700 BC. China's Qin dynasty is centuries off, but oracle bones, China's oldest scripts, are already being carved. 2 worlds apart, yet tied by a thread of prophecy. How far did God's gaze reach? But if the Bible saw China, how did faith leap the gap? Cue an ancient road that carried more than silk. It carried the gospel. Now, imagine the Silk Road, a sprawling web of trails 4,000 miles long, stitching east to west. It's 200 BC, camels groan under bolts of silk, jade and spice, trudging from Xi'an to Samarkand. But this wasn't just a Walmart run. Ideas rode shotgun: Buddhism, Zoroastrianism, and yes, Christianity. How did the gospel hitch that ride? Enter Alopen, a Nestorian monk from Persia, 635 AD. He didn't just stroll into China, he stormed it. Picture him, dusty robes, a cross in hand, facing Emperor Taizong in Chang'an, modern Xi'an. Taizong didn't just tolerate him, he rolled out the red carpet, ordering scriptures translated. The proof? The Nestorian stele, a 9-foot slab from 781 AD, etched in Chinese and Syriac. It brags, the religion of the Messiah spread to the Middle Kingdom. Found in 1625, it's no fake. Archaeologists drool over its details, like names of 70 monks who preached there. Zoom in, the Silk Road wasn't one path, it was a network. From Dunhuang's caves, packed with Christian scrolls, to Turfan's tombs, where crosses bloom with lotus flowers, faith left fingerprints. Take the Deccan Pagoda, built in 640 AD. Some call it China's first church, disguised as a Buddhist tower. Sneaky, right? Then there's the Jews of Kaifeng, Silk Road travelers who landed in the 8th century, built synagogues, and stayed for 1,000 years. Their Torah scrolls, still in museums. Fast forward to the Jesuits. Matteo Ricci hits China in 1582, a Renaissance rock star, math whiz, map maker, clock guy. He learns Chinese so well he's debating Confucian scholars in their own backyard. In 1601, he waltzes into Beijing's Forbidden City, the first European ever. His pitch? God's truth fits your classics. He translates Euclid into Chinese, Confucius into Latin, and plants seeds for millions of converts. But the Silk Road's tale doesn't end there. Robert Morrison lands in 1807, banned from preaching. He sweats 25 years in Macau, dodging officials to gift China a full Bible by 1814. Smuggled copies spark a fire. Today, China's church claims 100 million souls. And don't miss this, Marco Polo, 1290S, spots Christians in Kublai Khan's court. He writes, they've got bishops. Was the Silk Road a divine pipeline? So, faith crossed continents. But could China's role go beyond history, straight into prophecy? Buckle up for the end times twist. Now, let's crack Revelation 16:12. The sixth angel poured out his bowl, and the Euphrates dried up to prepare the way for the kings from the east. Who's coming? Some say China. Why? Its army's huge. 2 million active, millions more in reserve. The Belt and Road Initiative mirrors that dried up river, threading Asia like a warpath. But hold up, others say east just means Persia or Parthia, not Beijing. What's your take? But then there's Revelation 9:16, an army of 200 million horsemen. China's 1.4 billion people could muster that, easy. Modern preachers like Hal Lindsey point fingers. China's rise fits the bill. But rewind. John describes locusts with tails like scorpions, not tanks. Symbolic? Literal? Augustine thought numbers in Revelation were metaphors. 200 million could mean countless evil. Yet, China's military parades keep the theory alive. Now, Ezekiel 38, Gog and Magog's war. Magog's a mystery. Josephus tied it to Scythians north of China. Rabbi Pinchas Winston links it to Mongolia. Their lore claims Magog ancestry, and Sin, China in Hebrew, pops up again. But scholars like Michael Heiser argue Gog's a cosmic figure, not a nation. Still, China's border with Russia fuels speculation. Gog's far north coalition could drag them in. So let's dig into Daniel 11:44. News from the east and north will alarm him. The him is the king of the north. Seleucid vibes, not Xi Jinping. Yet prophecy buffs stretch it. China's east, Russia's north, rattling some antichrist. Thin, but intriguing. And Isaiah 49:12 circles back. Sinim joins the end times party. Is it poetic or a pin on the map? Here's the kicker. China's tech, digital yuan, 2023, cashless control, social credit scores, step out of line, you're toast. Revelation 13:17's mark of the beast looms. No one buys or sells without it. CBN News muses, is China beta testing the end? Imagine a believer in Shanghai locked out for praying. Chilling, right? But flip it. China's underground church explodes, 100 million defying crackdowns. Matthew 24:14, the gospel will be preached to all nations, then the end comes. China's believers could tip that scale. Watch this. In 1300, John of Montecorvino baptizes 6,000 in Beijing. By 1949, missionaries hit 3 million converts. Today, some predict 300 million Christians by 2030. Is China the prophecy's dark horse, or its light? A superpower in scripture, or a red herring? You tell me, because the clues keep coming. So, does the actually Bible mention China? Maybe not by name, but the clues, Sinim, Ceres, kings of the East, paint a picture of a God whose plan stretches to the ends of the earth. Look at history. The gospel didn't stop in Jerusalem. It rolled along the Silk Road to China, where millions worship today. Maybe that's the real prophecy. No land is too far for God's light. What do you think? Drop your take in the comments. Did this mystery spark something in you? Smash that like button, subscribe for more biblical deep dives, and tell me below, do you see China in the Bible? Share this with a friend who loves a good puzzle. Next time we're tackling another ancient enigma. Tap the screen to catch it after this. Thanks for watching. See you soon. Bible Short Stories, signing off.